So this is a quick look at the iCoffee, a nice new roaster which is new to the Australian market. Takes 150-gram batches recommended, although it can actually, well, I've certainly used it for 250, seems to cope pretty well. It's not an artisan roaster, it has to be said. If you're really into roast profiles and doing some pretty funky stuff, then this isn't for you. If you're like me and just like to have good fresh roasted coffee with bigger batch sizes and a popper, and a little bit slower too, then it seems to be pretty good at doing what it says it's going to do. Just switch it on. There we go. There's really not much to it. This knob will control how long the roast cycle goes on for. It's dialed 1 to 9. I'm sure they mean something in minute terms. It also has a preheat setting, so if I want to get the whole thing nice and hot, I can just kick it off and it'll start to warm up. Quick look inside, and you can see that the bean agitator is spinning around. It does that at that speed all of the time, and the whole machine is just warming up a treat now. Not that I'm going to run a batch in here, but it shows what happens. And I can kill that again just by pressing the off button. So let's have a look at this thing then. We've got the inner dome. Of course it's nice and cold right now, so I can touch it without doing any damage to myself. But there's a handle that neatly sits on top of the inner pot. I can pull it out. It's got a bean agitator. It's got holes in the center, and of course holes at the side. You can see it's pretty robust. I'm not sure what it's made out of. It feels pretty light though, and Teflon coated for ease of cleaning. Now I can put that down on the side and we can look directly into the guts of the machine. This ring around the side, again, you can pull out. It's a chaff collector. Actually does a very splendid job, it has to be said. Put that to one side. And this disc here is the heating element. If you have a rice cooker, you'll be very familiar with this little thing. So there's a heating element there. There's a hole in the back for gas extraction. And there's also just here, and you hear it clicking on and off, a little safety switch. So if I put it all back together again, basically the machine won't operate until this is pressed down. Yeah. You can hear that safety switch going. And also this will spin freely until it's switched down, and then it engages. So from what I can see, air is forced up those holes and it comes back out down through the coffee, down those side slits, and the chaff goes down there as well. Does a very good job, it has to be said. The coffee's beautifully clean, and all the chaff's underneath there at the end of the roast. So that sits back on and it's ready to rock and roll. And whilst it's still on the bench and nice and cool, I shall show you what's happening on the back there. This is the well, it's the smoke destroyer. It gets very hot. It's basically vaporizing the smoke as it comes out the back. So there's literally no deeply horrible acrid smoke that you normally get out of these machines when the coffee's going. It gets burned off. It does a pretty good job of that as well. Although if you cut the roasting short and open this thing up, of course it's a different matter. All the smoke just comes out. So if you're doing a proper roast, you could probably do it indoors without any real issue. as in you're allowing the machine to do its normal roast cycle and its normal cooling cycle. If you are like me and you're going to cut the roast short and cool it in a different way, I wouldn't do it indoors, certainly not. Now the optional extra that this machine comes with, and I'll push it over there and bring it out, is an external cooler. Quickly plug this thing in. Really what it is it's a fairly reasonable device, to be honest. It's a 12 volt fan in a box, and it's just pushing a not unreasonable amount of air up through. When the cycle's finished, or when you kill the cycle, you can pull the pot out and put it on top. The agitator doesn't work, it's just pushing air through the base of the pot. It certainly does speed up the cooling process. I like my cooling to be a lot quicker. It allows me to be a lazy roaster. So I use a different device. But it certainly works. So I've just done a quick preheat. I'm going to cut it short because it's nice and warm now. I've got 150 grams of greens standing by. Again, open it up. In it goes. Move the bit of the bag. And I'm just going to turn this up to 9 and set it off. Roast. Now, if previous roasts are anything to go by, I'll come back in a few minutes as it enters first crack. Nice and quiet, actually. It's a beautifully quiet machine, unlike the local birds that are having a bit of a fight down there. So there's first crack. Let's have a look. 6 minutes 45. Absolutely no smoke out the back. Just a little gentle steaming every now and then. This first crack's certainly finished, and I'm going to pull this roast very soon. To do that, I can give a good long press on the stop button, and that'll sort it out. Minus 24, that'll do for me. So, bit of steam. Because it's in this thing. That goes off. Let's have a look at what we've got. I'll take it out of my turbo cooler. And there we have a Pretty even PNG roast.